Okay, imagine this scenario for a second. You walk into a grocery store, maybe you're grabbing milk or eggs, and at the checkout counter, there's a man standing there scanning items. But he's not a teenager looking for pocket money. He's 88 years old.
88. That is... Honestly, that's hard to even visualize without feeling a little uncomfortable. At that age, you should be worrying about your golf handicap, or which book to read next, not scanning barcodes for 8 hours a day.
Exactly. And that's the story that just blew up the internet. We're talking about Ed Bambas, an 88-year-old veteran who was working as a cashier. But here's the twist that has everyone losing their minds. He just received a check for $1.7 million.
It is absolutely wild. I mean, 1.7 million. That is life-changing money for anyone, let alone someone pushing 90. But the way it happened, that's the real story here. It wasn't a lottery ticket. It wasn't an inheritance. It was strangers.
50,000 strangers, right?
Over 50,000. It started with a simple interview. Someone interviewed Ed, just chatting with him. And it came out very casually that he wasn't working because he loved the hustle. He was working because he had to.
And that's the part that hits you in the gut. Because when you dig into the why, the feel-good story starts to feel a little complicated. Why was an 88-year-old veteran forced to stand behind a register?
That's the shadow behind the spotlight. It turns out Ed didn't just have bad luck. He had a tragedy. He essentially lost his pension, the safety net that was supposed to catch him after a lifetime of work. And let's not forget, military service just wasn't there. So, he's standing there, scanning groceries, trying to pay off debt.
It's heartbreaking. And, obviously, the internet saw this and did what the internet does best. It mobilized.
Oh, instantly. It went viral. People saw this dignified, elderly veteran working to survive, and the empathy engine just roared to life. A GoFundMe was set up, and the goal was probably just to help him retire. But then, the avalanche started.
It's incredible to watch that happen. It restores your faith in humanity, doesn't it? Just seeing people open their wallets for a guy they've never met.
It absolutely does. It's beautiful. It shows that on an individual level, people are incredibly generous. We see suffering, and we want to fix it. But, and you knew there was a but coming.
I did. I can hear it in your voice. You're looking at the other side of the coin.
I am. Because while we're celebrating Ed getting to retire debt-free, which is amazing for him, we have to ask the uncomfortable question. Why is GoFundMe becoming our substitute for a social safety net?
That's the orphan crushing machine meme, isn't it? Like, everyone cheers because we raised money to save one orphan from the machine, but nobody asks why there's a machine crushing orphans in the first place.
Exactly. That is the perfect analogy. We have this dopamine hit of, we saved Ed. But Ed is just one guy. What about the thousands of other 8-year-old veterans who didn't get a viral interview, who don't have a camera pointed at them? They're still scanning groceries or greeting people at Walmart, or worse.
It does feel a bit dystopian when you frame it like that. It's like a Hunger Games of charity. If your story is sad enough, and you're charismatic enough, and the algorithm blesses you, you get to survive. If not, tough luck.
Right. And think about the patriotism angle here. This man served his country. There is this unspoken social contract that says, if you give your prime years to the nation ensures you don't die in poverty. But clearly, that contract is broken.
So the 50,000 people donating, do you think that's them trying to fulfill that contract themselves?
I think so. It's almost like a collective guilt tax. We see the system failing a veteran, and we feel a moral obligation to step in where the government or the pension funds failed. It's beautiful, but it's also an indictment of the system. We shouldn't have to rely on the kindness of strangers to ensure a veteran can eat.
It's true. And $1.7 million. That's not just retirement money for an 88-year-old. That is generational wealth at this point. It's wonderful for his family, but it highlights the extreme disparity. He went from 0 to the 1% overnight because of a viral moment.
It proves the power of narrative. Ed became a symbol. He wasn't just Ed anymore. He represented everyone's grandfather, everyone's idea of the deserving poor. But it makes you wonder about the sustainability of this. We can't crowdfund a pension system.
No, we definitely can't. But for Ed, specifically, the relief must be unimaginable. Can you imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders? Waking up the next morning and realizing, I don't have to go in.
That is the best part. Regardless of the systemic issues, for this one human being, the nightmare is over. He gets to rest. And honestly, at 88, rest is the most valuable thing you can buy.
So, where does this leave us? We have a happy ending for one, but a giant question mark for the rest.
I think it leaves us with a challenge. Enjoy the good news. Celebrate Ed. But don't let the feel-good warm fuzzies blind you to the cold reality that made this necessary. We need to fix the roof so we don't have to keep passing around buckets to catch the rain.
That's a powerful image. Fixing the roof versus passing the buckets. Well, for Ed Bambas, the bucket is overflowing, and I think we can all be glad for that.
Absolutely. Enjoy retirement, Ed. You earned it in more ways than one.
Thanks for listening, everyone. It's a story that makes you smile and think at the same time. We'll catch you on the next one.